I'm Brianna Shigo. Welcome back to my Tuesday Tips. Today, still going over the residential purchase agreement, but we're on to the next section, which is Fair Housing and Discrimination Advisory. So in a real estate transaction, two parties could potentially discriminate against one another and not even realize it. So it's our job as realtors to make sure that everybody has a fair transaction all the way through, and these 2 pages kind of go over all of that. So this first page on the top goes over a couple of the current laws in place against discrimination, such as Federal Fair Housing Act, Americans with Disabilities Act, and it kind of goes over what those laws entail, and then some of the potential legal remedies if discrimination does occur. The big chart that you see are all of the protected classes and characteristics against discrimination. So things like medical conditions, citizenship, disability, immigration status, genetic information, all of these classes are protected under all these laws and such, okay? Then it goes on to talk about how us as realtors and our bosses, brokers, have to keep up with the current times. We have to keep up with everything. So we have to take renewal classes on fair housing every time we renew our license, and brokers have to constantly maintain all of their realtors and make sure we're all acting in good faith and fairly to everybody. Moving on to the bottom section, Section 8 talks about how some things might be seen as discrimination but are not actually discrimination. For example, if a landlord had a rental property with a pool and they denied a family with small children to rent the property out, it might not be because of discrimination, but more because the landlord is afraid that the children are going to fall in the pool and it's a liability, etc., etc. So you have to watch out for things that could potentially look like discrimination on your part, okay? And then Section 9, the last section of this page, goes over some examples of actual discrimination. Moving on to the second page, the first section just continues the previous page, talking about actual examples of discrimination. The next section talks about positive practices for us as realtors. So what should we specifically do not to discriminate, okay? Then it goes on to some fair housing resources. So if you feel you've been discriminated against or if you need some help, they have actual websites and such listed for you there. And then Section 12 are a couple exceptions to the fair housing rules. So lots of ifs and ands and buts. Then you'd sign at the bottom acknowledging that you read and understand everything about the fair housing, discrimination, and advisory pages. And as always, let your realtor know if you have any questions or don't understand something, because we are here for you. This is a very big deal and we want to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into.